investigations. With that, I'll take your questions. John.
Can you tell us, Raj, when the White House first became aware of these allegations?
Well, I know there's been some reports about the Chief of Staff. He became fully aware about these allegations yesterday. I'm not going to get into the specifics regarding who may have known what pieces of information, because they were all part of an ongoing background check investigation.
You say fully aware. Was he partially aware?
Well, I think we all became aware of the news reports that emerged on Wednesday morning and some of the graphic images.
But did he know any of this back in November?
Again, I'm not going to get into the specifics. Peter?
Let me ask you if I can. The statement changed from John Kelly yesterday morning to the statement yesterday evening. He said based on new allegations. But what changed yesterday, absent a photograph, in terms of new allegations?
Well, I think what I just referenced, the reports had additional allegations. They had more information.
So you're saying the initial reports were two former wives accused him of violence, both physical and verbal abuse, was not sufficient for him to say that I think he's a man of honor?
There were a number of statements from, from the press secretary, from the chief of staff, from others, that reflected the Rob Porter that, we've come to know working here for over a year, and the chief of staff for about the last 6 months. But the reports are troubling, and I think the statement from Wednesday night reflects the Rob Porter that we had seen in these news reports and some of these credible allegations.
So to be clear, what was so shocking that had changed? He said it was shocking. What was he referring to?
I think the full nature of the allegations, particularly the images.
You said, then, just to answer one more thing, you talked about the fact that there weren't any concerns, you said, that could compromise national security or interfere with operations here at the White House. But we've spoken to one of Porter's ex-wives who told us that she warned the FBI that he could be susceptible to blackmail because of the allegations against him.
Well, again, I'm not going to get into the specifics of the investigation itself. I think that's a question for the FBI and others. But this is not our process. This is the process the U.S. government uses across agencies and has existed over numerous administrations.
The president.
Hang on a second. Cecilia.
Raj, I just want to clarify what you're saying here.
Sure.
Are you saying that the chief of staff of this White House had no idea that Rob Porter's two ex-wives had domestic violence allegations against him when they made those claims to the FBI, that John Kelly did not know that? How is that possible the chief of staff did not know that?
Well, again, this is part of an ongoing investigation. We trust the background check process, and the chief of staff does not get detailed updates about what may or may not have been alleged. This is a process. It involves a thorough investigation, and as I went through the process, it involves looking at not just accusations, but denials.
Okay, the White House had said yesterday that Porter's decision to leave was a personal one, that he wasn't pressured to do so. So would Rob Porter still be on the job today had he not decided to resign?
Well, Rob Porter was terminated yesterday, and his last day, his last day was yesterday. I know he came in earlier today to clear out his stuff.
But would he still be on the job? I mean, Sarah Sanders made it
Well,
very clear.
he offered his
wasn't pressured to
resignation,
do so.
and it was accepted. Jim.
Yes, so in terms of the Chief of Staff's handling of all this, no regrets?
Well, I think the second statement that he sent out reflected his thoughts, which is that these allegations are deeply troubling. They are shocking, and I think the first statement reflected, the Rob Porter that we have known.
But let me ask you if I could follow up on that, because as you were coming out here yesterday, or Sarah Sanders was coming out here yesterday, you were releasing a statement from Rob Porter saying that he took those photographs. That appears to be an acknowledgement that this abuse took place, that he helped document it. How can the White House Chief of Staff, how can the press secretary, how can this White House still be standing behind him when Mr. Porter appeared to be acknowledging that he had
I think
this
it's fair to say that we all could have done better over the last few hours or last few days in dealing with this situation, but this was a Rob Porter that I and many others have dealt with, that Sarah had dealt with, that other officials, including the Chief of Staff, had dealt with, and the emerging reports were not reflective of the individual who we had come to know.
And I'm just asking one other follow-up.
Jeff, we've got a few. Okay.
Raj, did the president know that Rob was was working on a temporary clearance?
No, the president saw the news report on Tuesday night and was informed of the resignation on Wednesday. He was saddened by it. Saddened for all the individuals involved.
Over the last year, is that ever something that he was concerned about?
He was not informed about the specifics regarding Rob Porter's security clearance. Okay.
Sorry,
Danielle.
Do you have any information on how many senior White House staffers are currently working under an interim security clearance?
I got into the security clearance process as much as I'm allowed to discuss it, and I'm not going to go further. Yes.
What is the White House's reaction to comments made by former White House aides